Hi everyone and welcome to part 2 of my 24-105 lens review. I've been out with it today for the first real time and I've just had a little play, so I'll fly through some of these images pretty quick. And we have got Ethan's eye at the end, but these are just some shots that I took in macro mode today. Now macro mode is just zoom it in 205mm and you can focus really close, and as you can see this was a B. All these images are unedited, by the way, out of the camera, just converted to DNG on the way in. And as you can see, I'll just press the F key. Can we click and press the F key and go to full screen mode? You can see we focused in on the B and it's nice and sharp. I'll just fly through some of these really quickly just to show you them. See, that one's a bit softer than that one. I'll have to come out of full screen actually, because I found out that because you're so close that if you look at an F4 and look at the B and then you go to F8, there's distinctively a massive difference. But if you think about it, I was at 105mm, so really when you're in macro mode F4, really you want to be at least at 5.6 or F8. It hasn't really made much difference to the background, but the B now is zinging. Again, all the F8s look absolutely spot on. Again, macro mode, just playing. Now these are obviously out of the camera, deep down. I want the highlights pulling down a bit. Want a bit of contrast, bit of clarity. We could even use the new brush and drag a nice oblong and give it just a rotation, and let's just invert that mask so that we get the clarity on the flower, and there you go. We could even add a new one and could do a vignette this time, and we'll just make this a little bit smaller, something like that. We'll knock the clarity down on this one and we'll knock the exposure down, and as you can see we are let me just see, you can see how you can move the clarity down. So if we have a look, we've got before and after. I love that new setting, how you can draw in custom shapes. But anyway, without boring you any longer there, let's carry on going. You can see though there's a big difference to that one, and that one. So let's keep going, and again, same thing again. You could use the adjustment brush again. If we just drag another one down, I do love this new adjustment brush, and invert the mask so that it pulls the clarity down, brings the clarity up on the flower, and no, sorry, we need to create a new one now and do another one. And so this is a bit of a both tutorial here, ladies and gents. And then we can, for this one, we can pull the clarity right down, pull the exposure down. Oh, probably too much, but if you look at a before, and that's using two different processes. And don't forget you can invert the mask so it darkens the flower and not the background. So there's before, before and after. Anyway, let's just stop showing you that and carry on going. So some of the images that I've pulled out of this lens are absolutely, I find out the contrast and stuff like that. As you can see, these are all unedited pictures. My exposures are always nice and hot. You'll notice on the Instagram, I always do that so I get more detail in my shadows. Let's just close this. But I know that if I just give a little tug on those highlights, I've got my highlights back now and I've got better detail in my camera. Out of the camera, that would have probably come out something like this to retain the highlights, but I like to get detail in the shadows as well. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really good. I don't think that it is as sharp as my primes, but not at all focal lengths and all f-stops. But it's well good enough, and I walked out today and it was fantastic to just have it on the camera and be able to zoom in and out and have a good quality lens on the camera and get these sort of images. I mean, if you look at the aperture, whatever, and we up the ISO as well. I find out with it being f4, deep down you want to be, you're going to have a slightly higher ISO than shooting at f2. So there's a f4. And then we've got f16, look, really pushing the envelope for the sharpness, but it's really, really tack sharp. Again, out of the camera shot, this could be a fantastic shot with a bit of editing. Just seeing what sort of colours I could get from here. Look, f8, look at the shutter speed, 60th of a second at 55mm. All I'd do with this one is pull the highlights down, which would fix these bright leaves down here. And you could add the clarity up a touch and put the vibrance up. Bring the exposure down a touch. Shadows up just a breath. And we've got a before and after. Looking good. These shots are nothing special. They were I just wanted to see what the lens did with colours and see what the contrast were like. And out of the camera, that doesn't look bad. I mean, it's nice enough. This was in quite low light, so ISO was up 105mm here. Let's have a look at the sharpness. Oh yes, a bit soft. This one's a bit better. Oh aye, tack sharp. These wasn't AI servo, by the way. They was walking towards me and I just sent a focus point and clicked. So it focused as they were walking and they were walking. Which I found it snapped straight into focus. And you can see we've got good focus. And that was at 105mm at 5.6. F16, 60th of a second at 24mm. And it's nice and sharp. F16 again, ISO 800. 500 of a second, ISO 800. F8, 60mm. And then the same shot again at 105mm. And you can see it's absolutely sharp. Look at this now, F16. Now I'm actually looking at these and I'm looking at them for the first time. Well, should I say, I did quickly zip through them before I did the video, but only like I'm doing now. If we look at this F16 at F4, F16 at F4, F16 at 40th of a second, and it's tack sharp handheld. So the IS really doing its job there. Edit on this, clarity up, shadows up, contrast up, highlights down, whites down, exposure down, bit of vibrance, warm it up just a touch to fix those blacks, and a little bit of a crop, and oops, sorry, I'm pressing the wrong keys because the microphone's right in the way of my keyboard. But anyway, there you go. Again, look, oh no, that's 5.6. Just shooting, focused on this flower here. I seen the nice sky and just thought I'd shoot these. The IS really comes in handy. Again, this would be another one to pump the clarity up, pump the vibrance, pump the highlights down a bit, pump the shadows up a bit. Go like that with the exposure. Let's click this and go. Let's just give it a rotate. Invert that for the background. Click new. Let's pull the exposure down. And there you go. So we've got a before and after. Just looking really nice there. Oh, let's have a look at this one. F9, 80th of a second, focused here. Absolutely tack sharp. This lady was walking up the path and I quickly put the centre focus point on her and took the picture. I like to do that because I know on the cheaper lenses, especially in lower light, when you do that, say they're doing the speeches and they go to get the father might give, or the mother or the bride might give one of the bridesmaids a cuddle and a kiss, and then you go bang and take the picture in one shot, not AI servo, and this lens really does. I noticed when I used the Tamron a few weeks ago that when you press, you got a little bit of delay, like 1-2, and it was that much delay. With this, it were more not even 1, and it had taken the picture and focused. So anyway, I won't bother with any more of these because they're unedited. They were just me basically seeing how sharp it was, and it seems absolutely spot on. But I'll just show you lens correction on it. And then we can auto crop it as well. And then if we go before and after, you can see at 28mm, there's hardly any vignetting. This is on a 60D, by the way. Again, we'll just do it again. Auto straighten it for me, which is good. Let's put up some contrast, some shadows, some clarity, some vibrance, not too much. Too much clarity. Sometimes I don't like too much clarity, me. So now let's actually get to the end of the review and actually have a look at an eyeball. This is really what I like to do. So what I did was, I think I did 24, 35, 50, 70 and 105mm at f4, f5.6 and f8. So, and all I did, the exposure should be the same. All I did was when I went from f4 to a 5.6, I doubled my ISO. And then when I went from 5.6 to f8, I doubled my ISO again, so that I kept the same exposure and the same shutter speed. So, if we look, I focused on the left eyeball, and you can see that is super tack sharp at f4 at 24mm. Now let's actually just look at the lens correction at 24mm. We'll auto crop it, but I mean that's not needed. So if we go like that, I mean the lens correction at 24mm, there's none. I took it slightly just lower than that eye level, and you can see it looks spot on. So let's just shift command there, reset that. So sharp at 24mm, same f-stop, f4 again, tack sharp. At 35mm, super sharp. You wouldn't even have to sharpen that, it's so cool. f4 again at 50mm, sharp again. I'll tell you now, Ethan was moving. I could see him dancing around, so the odd one of these is a little soft, but I think it's down to him moving. But you can see that's not as sharp as that one. But I bet it'll have been him that moved. So let's just evaluate. 70mm f4, look at the background. And the eye is tack sharp. And 105mm at f4. Now here it seems a touch soft to me. Even though if you look at the shutter speed never changed. I kept the same shutter speed through all these shots. Even at 5.6 and at f8, I just double my ISO instead to get the exposure. But I think this is, I have found it to be a little bit soft at f4 at 105mm, but it is quite a bit sharper than this is actually showing here. So now let's go back again. If you look, the ISO has doubled and the shutter speed has stayed the same. We've just gone to a 5.6. So let's look at the left eye at 5.6, as to be expected, tack sharp. 32mm, I meant to be 35, but at 5.6, tack sharp. 50mm, 5.6, tack sharp. Look at the background now, nicely coming out of focus. 70mm at 5.6, tack sharp. And again, I've noticed at 105mm, it's a little bit soft again. But I think it was a bit of movement from him. So now, again, ISO 800, f8, still 3/20th of a second. 24mm, as to be expected, absolute super zinging sharp. 35mm, zinging sharp. 50mm, zinging sharp. 70mm, zinging sharp. 105mm, zinging sharp at f8. So it's definitely sharper at f8 at 105mm. And these were just a couple I taken just to do a full length shot, just to see what they were like at f8. Same aperture, 28mm, tack sharp, and just last one where I turned his body away from the light and his face back in, and we're at 60mm, and they're all tack sharp. So I may do some further tests, but as it is, it's super sharp. It's beautiful to use. It focuses great. The IS is phenomenal. You can shoot at f16, or you can shoot at 30th of a second at 100mm or 80mm, which without the IS you'd have bloody no chance of doing that. I mean, I did shoot a lot more pictures, but I'm not going to really take you through them all. When I got to Temple Newsham, I shot a couple of shots. As you can see, these are all out of the camera, just messing around. I have browsed through them, and they're all tack sharp, so I won't bore you with them. Have I got anything else I want to show you? This was a macro shot, really close up there, nearly near enough touching it. Here's, in fact, this was where I photographed. That's f4, that's f5.6, f8. But I only really did them at 105mm. F11 and f16 and f22 soft. I did so I noticed that the edges are sharp. Would I say it's as sharp as my 28mm prime? No. Well, it's easy as sharp, but not at all apertures and all focal lengths. But for a zoom lens, it is well sharp, and it's absolutely spot on. It's the best zoom lens I've ever used, and it's really an handy lens to have on the camera. You're near enough, well, you would better do a full wedding, no problem. I still have my 50mm prime, but I did get rid of the 28 and the 85, and I'm glad I got this. I know it's f4, and I might have to turn my ISO up a little bit more instead of shooting at f2, because when my primes, you see, I could go down to f2. But I think that this lens is going to do me better and save me walking around everywhere. It is expensive, but it is a top-notch lens, and you get it all in one. And that's what I'm really liking. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please comment and subscribe.